Hello my soccer universe, I want to use the end of the international break to actually look at leaked jerseys for the upcoming World Cup, or if teams don't qualify for the World Cup. I have a little bit fear about those guys. What might their new jerseys look like? I mean, the leaks have been around now for about 3 if not more months, especially from the Adidas side, and it makes sense that Adidas is the first one to come out because they usually are the first ones to release the new jerseys. We'll see already probably most of them in the upcoming international break. So yeah, this video will be Adidas heavy, but we also have already some leaks about Nike. I think it's also interesting. And lastly, 2 from Puma as well. And it's pretty much all that I have seen so far. But yeah, I thought I'm gonna run through this. I give my opinion on these shirts that we see, and we also talk a little bit about the common threads that we will see. And before I'm gonna start this, I mean, all the pictures you will see I've taken off Footy Headlines, which is your source of seeing leaked jerseys all around. And we have a few more info pieces as well, but I wanted to go with stuff that is already confirmed. But yeah, it's Footy Headlines who themselves take it sometimes from pages like Oppa League and whatever. So it's kind of an aggregator, but it's quite interesting to see and quite some interesting details in there as well. I would say let's get started, and let's get started with Adidas. We knew a whole lot of things about Adidas even before the first shirts were released. Namely, that the 3 stripes on the home jerseys will be a whole lot thicker than we had them before. It looks actually, when you look at the picture, a little bit jarring, and maybe it's a look that we have to get used to, but we have really bold 3 stripes on the shoulders. The other thing is that all the home jerseys will have the regular Adidas equipment logo, the one with the 3 stripes on there, whereas the away jerseys will all feature the old Trefoil logo, which is welcome. However, what I can already say is the designs themselves are not necessarily retro, but there are some retro features. The 3 stripes are a little bit thinner, the regular size, and also what we will see is that the color game looks really, really good on these jerseys. However, as I said, the jerseys themselves, there's not much retro to them, which I think is something that they have missed a bit here. Yeah, I mean, if you pull out the Trefoil logo, you should use it for retro-inspired designs. There was a huge kerfuffle about these Adidas jerseys not too long ago when Alex Del Piero, out of nowhere, just leaked all of them in a picture that was taken down quickly as well. However, not quick enough because the picture is out there. And yes, you can see quite a few interesting designs, but the further back you go, the harder it will get. But it is quite interesting that a superstar like Del Piero could leak the jerseys. I want to start the Adidas journey with the jersey that actually came out first, so that was leaked first and was confirmed, and that is, of course, Mexico, one of the host nations, and their new home jersey is actually a rebrand, because there was initially one that was kind of a light green, and then you have a Mexican flag down the center, and then they came up with this kind of reimagined version of the '98 World Cup shirt. And I actually like the idea. I think it looks much better than what we previously had. I like that the colors are there. When I look at the sleeve cuffs, I love that there's some red in there and also the white. I just wish that they were kind of reversed. Mexican flag is green, white, red, so why have it this way? But it overall looks alright. However, when I look at the original and now this jersey, to me this one seems to be designed as a little bit of a step down, too modernized, maybe even too abstract. Although I don't like the double eagle in there, doubling up the Mexico logo. Seems a little bit odd, but it's not a bad jersey. You see definitely the 3 stripes, very, very bold, and what's most interesting is that they are within the fabric. So there is like some ventilation holes on the top. It's 3 make up the stripes, then there's 1 that make up the in-between, and then there's 3 again. So a really interesting addition to these. As I said, overall, I think it's all right, but it's also, couldn't we have done something a little bit better? I mean, the thing that was the standout for the '98 jersey was that there was this huge face on it that was already scary. This one, yeah, I guess it is inspired by Mexican culture, but to me it seems a little bit half-baked. One last a feature that you don't see on this picture is, of course, that there's some holographic prints within the logos on the players version. So there's some, I think in the Adidas logo, there's some little Adidas logos in there, and there's something in the Mexico logo as well, and this is throughout all of these kits. The away jersey for Mexico also already leaked. I mean, that is probably as classic as it can be, and I love the Trefoil logo, and you know, they use the 3 stripes in kind of the country's colors. Maybe the green could be a little bit lighter, but it might also be the lighting here. But while it's not an outstanding jersey and there's an interesting print in there, I have to say it looks quite classic. I mean, if they would have brought the classic crest back, that would have been even better. Let's go to the world champions. That's Argentina. And yeah, it's an Argentina jersey. We have another gradient in there. I mean, what can you do with these stripes? So we have a gradient there. We have golden logos. I actually like that the Adidas logo is golden next to the crest. This is definitely a leak, and I think that the 3 stripes will be thicker on that one. So that's a little bit odd. The color looks a little bit off. I mean, it reminds me a bit of the jersey that just won the World Cup, but you know, a little bit of an evolution of it. It's not bad. You know, I like the sleeve cuffs also with the black and then the light blue. I mean, overall it doesn't look bad, but I would have maybe wished for a little bit of innovation. You know, if you just switch around the stripes, I mean, have a white center stripe and have the rest blue, and then, you know, switch the blue and the white, I think would have given us maybe a fresher look in a way. But you know, it's not a jersey that I'll dislike. I just dislike kind of the uniformity of it that we have seen. The away jersey though, and here is a sketch, and I also have a picture of Messi wearing that one, is already one of the jerseys that I have my eyes on. I mean, this one looks absolutely gorgeous. It is black with some purple highlights. That's a real banger, I have to say. You know, the Trefoil logo, great. Again, do we need the Trefoil logo? I mean, if they would have come out with a super retro shirt and just the plain blue shirt or whatever, would have probably fit more to the retro styling. But the pattern on there is awesome. We also see on the Messi picture the ball, the new ball, and I probably should have said something about that too. I'm not sure what to think about it, to be honest. I mean, it's very colorful, and yes, we have 3 nations, so it's called Trionda. So we have blue for the States, we have red for Canada, we have green for Mexico, yeah, and red and green are also for Mexican colors. I guess it's all right. I find the way the shape is done interesting, but there's something a little bit missing. I think it's almost too colorful for me, and I'm sure they take the color out for the knockout stages. Just saying, not much more than that. It's definitely one of the least contentious issues about this upcoming World Cup. Let's move to Germany. The last ever Adidas jerseys are a mixture between the World Cup winning shirts of 1990 and 2014. I think it's the best way to describe this. And in a way, it's also a bit of a downgrade. I mean, I can see that people will like this one. I mean, I can definitely see that the collar and the cuffs are a callback to what they were wearing in 2014. And of course, the big flag pattern is inspired by 1990, but that it's a V is also 2014. I know this is inspired by 1990, but the way that the 2 arms of the flag meet, it looks a little bit clunky. And that's what I also didn't like about the 1990 jersey, but there it was at least a wave pattern that kind of made it all right. Here, yeah, I don't know. It's I'm not quite yet there. It's again reimagining things that used to be instead of coming up with something really new, and you know, it's just merging 2 things together. I mean, something new is definitely a away jersey for Germany, but I'm also not quite sure about that one. I mean, the colors look actually quite good, I have to say. And I especially love the color with the 3 color. You know, you have the mint, you have the dark blue, and you have the white. But a navy blue away jersey for Germany is something that we have to get used to. But I am willing to go that. I'm more these mint specs on there that I find a little bit off. And I guess those are the missing pieces from the flag in the middle or whatever. But this is a design that I'm not quite sure. And I hope there will be some marketing story to kind of explain this a little bit. But yeah, I mean, the same thing goes for the Argentina jersey, to be honest. I mean, that pattern, I would like to know where this is coming from. But I can already say it looks a whole lot better. This Germany jersey, yeah, leaves me a teeny bit cold. Let's go to the team that will potentially not qualify for the World Cup, Italy. They also go a little bit retro with their home jersey design. They are celebrating 20 years of winning the World Cup in 2006. And again, may I just say that Adidas should not have come anywhere near an Italy jersey. Those big golden stripes, I don't know, take out any class that this jersey may have. I have to be honest. I mean, this is the one thing that on the Italy jersey, it bothers me by far the most. It takes away actually from overall, I think, quite a nice design. And I really wonder, I mean, couldn't we have made the stripes tone in tone, you know, kind of to give the Italy jersey a little bit of class in a way. The pattern on there, of course, are laurel leaves to celebrate that. I think that's all right. I still cannot live with the crest. And especially, do you see how the white of the Italy flag in there is so teeny tiny? It's just, yeah. But overall, I think it's a decent shirt. It's just these big golden patches up there that just don't do it for me. The away jersey, I think, is a whole lot more classy. And here, actually, the white stripe, I mean, the new logo works much better on a white background because the white actually looks kind of all right in there. I think has a lot more potential. I love the color. I really love the way this is done. You know, the three stripe or three color. I mean, it's two colors, but you see there are three stripes along the collar, and we also have this on the sleeve cuffs. That looks really good. I like that the base is not a plain white. There's a pattern in there. The pattern are Roman columns that are a little bit intersecting. I actually think this could have been done better. I mean, when I heard it's inspired by Roman architecture, I was actually, you know, everything that is interesting. But then I saw the execution. I'm thinking, yeah, it looks like a mosaic. And if you don't know that these are Roman columns, you don't know much. So in that sense, maybe the pattern on both the home and the away a little bit disappointing, honestly. You know, you cannot always do the Renaissance style. I understand that as well. But maybe you could dig into a little bit your Roman history. I think that would fit well and do it a little bit bolder, you know, like you did for Argentina. But, you know, without being overwhelming. I think if you get some Italian culture in there, you could get something really nice. Again, the jersey itself, I don't think is a bad one. I actually like this a whole lot better than the home jersey. Japan is another one that I just showed these pictures yesterday to my wife, and she said, I like the Japan jersey. And I don't quite feel it, honestly. And it's about this pattern. I mean, Japan always has some swirly pattern around. I just don't know how these lines are leaving these triangles on the side. That's something that I'm a little bit off. Other than that, I really like how the collar looks. I mean, this could be a France jersey, honestly. You will also see here a little preview of the font that will be used on these jerseys, which I think is also nice. I mean, these cutouts, we can discuss them, but I think this looks interesting. Just not sure about this swirly pattern going from left to right and in these bows in there. Again, they will be probably inspired by, let's say, the bullet train or whatever. Okay, I'm fine with that if that should be. It just, yeah, not quite feeling it. And for the away jersey, I so far have only found this graphic from Oppa League, and it looks like a baseball jersey. I mean, interesting for sure. Many colors in there as well, and still it's a black and white jersey, a white jersey with black accents. So yeah, also I think this is what I would have to see in play, and it shows potentially, I think there's an alternate kit font for the away jersey as well, which is a little bit more retro inspired, which I actually do like a little bit better. But you know, I guess, yes, nice, but this baseball look, I cannot look at this and not think about baseball. And yeah, we're going to America, the home of baseball, but you know, let's not dig into this American thing too much, but we come back to that a little bit later. Now for Spain, I found this picture. There is potential an alternate thanks to Del Piero's leak where these yellow pinstripes will be replaced by dark blue ones. So this might not be the final design. I have to say for Spain jersey, this looks quite interesting. I like this actually with the yellow pinstripes and the blue shoulders, although I could see that it looks more uniform with the dark blue pinstripes, but it gives an interesting look. It definitely allows the Spanish flag stripes on the top to stand out a little bit more. And you know, the navy blue has always been now, as at least of late, part of the Spanish uniform. So I'm curious to see the final result there. The away jersey maybe less interesting, although a lot more class. I'm not sure about the crest. It looks a little bit lost there. It's very simple. But in a way, that's what I want to have when I have a Trefoil logo. So, you know, I can see the positive and negative. The color scheme is definitely a great one. We also have Belgium. I think the home jersey looks nice. Again, like with Mexico, I would love if the black and the yellow on the cuffs and the collar would be interchanged. You have a Belgian flag right there. For me, this is an opportunity missed, and yes, it might look aesthetically more pleasing if you have the black and then the yellow on the outside, but you could have put the flag up there. You could have flag cuffs, and this for me is a major missed opportunity. Other than that, it's a Belgium jersey. What more can I say? It reminds me of the one that I have from Euro 2000. Colombia, we have another leak here. Very interesting. I think it's interesting now that Colombia is leaning in. They used to have, like 10 years ago, that the yellow jersey was paired mostly with blue, and now we get the red in a little bit more. But here we have all the colors in there, and it's quite vibrant, and also this rosy or flowery pattern on there, which is a tribute to a Colombian artist, I think fits quite well. I think this is a really well done Colombia jersey, I have to say. And given my story with Colombia jerseys, I probably should not attempt trying to get this one, although I actually do like this one, and I hear my wife already saying, you know, yellow with your complexion is probably not the best color to wear. Maybe she's onto something there. The away jersey for Colombia, I think is also interesting, although I'm not sure about the color combination. It looks a little bit more like a Brazil away jersey, but you know, I like Colombian blue, but now with yellow, I get a bit more Brazil vibes, and I think on the collar and the cuffs you should have put a red and not a dark blue in there. I really think so. Just looking at the national colors, and yeah, just let's leave it at that. Let's go to Nike. For Nike, I thought it's probably best to show you the first confirmed leak, which is the England home jersey, which tells us already a whole lot of how the basic template will look like. And we'll see. We have kind of a wavy pattern. We have the sleeves going far into the shoulder. Then there's this little sliver, which we will see for other jerseys a little bit more filled in. Here it's just the pinstripe outline. And then we have also some wavy patterns coming from the back towards the front. It's almost a little bit like what Adidas used to do about 20 years ago. Kind of an interesting thing, but I'm not sure how aesthetic this is, especially when you accent it as much. I mean, when I look at the top of this England jersey, this gives me mid-80s vibes, and I absolutely love that. I mean, the color is really cool, and then the pattern there, it looks really, really cool. Adding the red on the side is per se not bad, but it then puts it more towards an era of jerseys that I really don't like, which was the mid-2000s. Where there was some random slivers coming in. And yeah, I can see it as an accent. I mean, it's not displeasing, and overall, I think I like this England shirt, and probably one has to see it worn on players. But there's something about it that just doesn't do it for me. I also am not sure this triangle on front of the round collar, whether we really needed that one. The one thing I have to point out, though, is the England crest has a golden star above it. As of late, the star used to be white or silver, so that you barely see it. The other thing I don't like is exactly this shoulder thingy here. If this is colored in, it looks clunky, in my opinion. But you know, Nike is now sticking with this template, and we will see it a whole lot. For instance, on this Uruguay jersey, here all the slivers are outlined with pinstripes. I guess this is fine. I mean, the one thing I will always speak for Nike is that they probably have the best material. However, I think the designs as of late have been a little bit weird. And here you can see, I mean, if you follow these pinstripes on the shoulder, then you see how the sleeves are really invading into the chest area. If that is differently colored, this will look positively weird. On this one, I absolutely love the color, even though the black around, yeah, I'm not good. But this Uruguay jersey is absolute class, I gotta say, as overall. I mean, the look is not a bad one. It's just some wavy lines and pinstripes that tick me off a teeny bit. And so we come probably to the biggest leak of them all so far, which is the New France jersey, inspired by the Statue of Liberty. France and Nike leaning fully in, and I think the away jersey for France is a mint green inspired by the Statue of Liberty. And yeah, Statue of Liberty has been a gift by France to the American nation, so I can understand why they're leaning into it. I don't quite know. I mean, this jersey, I think this could be a grower. This could be a jersey that many will like. The color is very much 2014. The pattern on there, I mean, the triangles is inspired by the crown of the Statue of Liberty. Part of me wishes that this was made a little bit more obvious. I mean, with this pattern, it either looks like a warm-up jersey as of late, some of the Adidas jerseys of the 80s, but honestly, it looks to me like, look at the Lotto jerseys that, for instance, the Netherlands were wearing at 92. That was my first thought. This looks like Lotto logos all over. I mean, it has 90s vibes. That much is for certain. The thing that I have to say is I don't hate it. I also see there's some red, there's a buttoned collar, there's some red behind where these segments intersect. So, I mean, it's definitely a fashionable jersey. Given what France has had of late, it's a bit of a departure. That is also for certain. So yeah, I think this could be a grower or it could go down on the dumpster heaps. I feel that many will probably judge it on the performance of the French national team. There I have a bit less problems. But I can see people going off on it. I do like the colors, but there's something about it that probably, and maybe I'm not so much for abstraction. I would have loved it more if there was kind of the face of the Statue of Liberty on there, like a New York Rangers style. Might too be tacky. Yeah, I think it is more classy this way. But yeah, I reserve my right to judge this a little bit later. Actually, this might very well grow on me. I remember the last jersey that they wore at the World Cup. I thought it's boring, and then I saw it as the whole kit, and I guess we have to see it here as a whole kit as well. And it looked absolutely glorious, and that's why it's hanging back there. Turkey. Turkey does Turkey things. I usually love this design, the white with the red chestband, but here I think the Nike styling is really too much. I mean, if you have this red chestband, we don't need all the other red accents. I think they positive distract. This looks like these Puma styles on the early 2000s that really didn't look great. Another thing that I don't like is the flag on there. Put this in a roundel, it looks much better. This is one thing that I don't like. And remember, we have here a swirly pattern in the red stripe. And then the away jersey, and Turkey uses them interchangeably, actually takes the swirly pattern from the chestband and then extends it to the rest of the jersey except for the chestband, where again it's the Turkish flag in there. So I guess they make these swirly pattern jerseys, cut out the stripe and put it on the white jersey and then just the red stuff. I have to say the red one looks better overall, and I usually like the red chestband on white, but I think that the red one looks more cohesive in a way. Still don't like the Turkish flag like that. I think they can do much better there. Croatia, and now we're going to the graphics. I have to say that Croatia home jersey, this is the last one by Nike. They're switching over to Adidas. Here you see already, I mean, we will have red sleeves. Why are the sleeves not checkered? That's my first question there. I think I'm less bothered by the bluish thing is going in there, but then the fading pattern, we have to see. It could be interesting, but I'm not quite sure. And I think that it will look really weird in the chest area where the sleeves will meet the main body of that one. So yeah, maybe Adidas, and Adidas have been, design-wise, been on a real roll. Will do a better job with Croatia. Will remain to be seen. The away jersey is just similar to 2016. We take the design of the home jersey and just make it the blue version of that one, which I guess is alright, and I think it looks better this way. Poland, same issue here. The sleeves are gray, potentially. Other than that, it's a Poland jersey. The collar looks a little bit clunky, but this was also Croatia as well. But cannot really fault it for much, but I wish that the sleeves were not gray. The away jersey, way more adventurous and some red marbly pattern. Since I don't have a red Poland jersey, this could be the one. This could be the one. Let's see about that. Uruguay away jersey, and I cannot tell you how much this pissed me off. I finally found a Uruguay away jersey in white, and I remember in 2010 they wanted to have a golden one, and there was such an outcry. Why don't we have a white away jersey? And so they had to scrap that one and make a white one. So I was looking for a white Uruguay away jersey. I found one. I will have them for a decent price. I was so happy to have it, and literally 2 days later I see this leak. Now that it's black per se, I think makes a whole lot of sense in a way, because I think it's a much better contrast than white to the light blue that Uruguay is having. But given that Uruguay is usually wearing it with black pants, I think it makes more sense. Now this all black version, I don't know what this pattern up top is. I mean, I've heard it being called a Black Panther jersey. I guess we need some marketing speech, and I love marketing speech, to make a little bit light of that one. Let's go to Puma. There's not much that I can say about Puma. Unfortunately, they've lost Italy. Unfortunately, I don't know. I still am pro Puma when I compare the efforts for Italy from Adidas to the ones for Puma. And there were some really bad ones in there, but when it's good, it was glorious. And yes, Italy should go back to Kappa or even Diadora. I would love that even more. But yeah, let's go to Puma. I can show you 2 leaks there. The first one is the new Portugal jersey, and it kind of gives me the vibes of the Adidas away jersey when I look at the collar, but it looks overall quite decent. There's a wavy pattern there, seafaring history and so on, but I actually do love the collar and the cuffs and the overall look of this jersey. I've seen there's a black version out there as well, but this will not be the away jersey. The away jersey will be more of a white, bluish version as they had late. But I have to say, Puma is doing a decent job here for Portugal, and this one is quite decent, I gotta say. And then we have Switzerland, a bit more Puma styling. The pattern is very similar to the one for the 2018 World Cup. It's inspired seemingly by the Swiss passports and so on, whether you want to see it or not. I think it's about as neutral as a Switzerland jersey can be, and Swiss are always neutral, so it kind of is fitting. The pattern is alright. I'm a little bit annoyed with these white patches. I think they would fit better on an Austria jersey, given that there is an Austrian flag in there. And as always, put the Swiss flag in a roundel, and we're talking not this square thingy like with Turkey. Yeah, that ends our little preview into some of these jerseys. Let me know what you think about them. I thought it was interesting to go through them. And it's always the same thing. When you see these jerseys for the first time, you usually get the feeling, they're new. And our instinct, especially when you're a little bit more traditionalist, like I think I am when it comes to jerseys, is always the first reaction is a little bit rejection, and then you need to sit with them. And that's why I usually do my reviews so late, because I want to see these jerseys in play. And some look great and some don't look great. And for instance, the Germany home jersey that was worn at the Euros, that lived up to it. I mean, and the same thing goes for the France jersey. When I saw this friendly in early 24 between Germany and France, both of these kits lit up and it looked absolutely glorious. Even though at first I thought, So I didn't want to make a true value judgment there, just some thoughts that I had out there, but it's interesting to see where these products will be going. I'm not so sure about the Nike template overall, and I'm very surprised that Nike is so templated this time around, whereas Adidas, I mean, there is a template formula in there, but it seems much more varied. I was actually thinking of making a video about power ranking of current brands. I have to say that while I think Adidas is absolutely on a roll, on so much of the roll that there's even the rumors out there that they might acquire Puma. They're coming from the same town, founded by brothers who actually didn't like each other, blah, blah, blah. The Adidas were first a Dassler business and then split. It's a whole story that I don't need to recount there. But if Adidas buy up Puma, I don't think they will kill necessarily the Puma brand, but that's game over. I mean, for me, Adidas would be in a power index really, really high. Higher than Nike. But what Nike has going for them is that material-wise, they are far superior. If you just look at how players are sweating in the heat, Nike jerseys are nicely ventilated. So technology-wise, Nike have the edge. Design-wise and look-wise, and therefore fashion-wise, I think Adidas is killing it at the moment. Really, one great jersey after another. And if I look at it, yeah, I think some of the Adidas stuff looks really, really, really good. It's just always a danger for them of overdoing it. But you know, Adidas and the World Cup, it's a match that has been going on for a long, long time. In any case, please let me know what you think about all these leaks. Which jersey did you like here and what are you looking forward to? And yes, I would have loved to include a few more brands and a few more leaks in there. I tried to go only for teams that will be for sure at the World Cup. So I think a Hungary leak I left out, but it was anyway similar to the Belgian one. Nothing really to talk home about. I also did not go into color schemes. For instance, we know that the Brazil kit is seemingly inspired by the 1971. It will not be as plain as that one. That much I can already say, but you know, would be interesting to see a round collar back on a Brazil jersey. Any case, give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, drop a line below, and as always, I will talk to you soon about more things in my soccer universe. Bye!